Well, Brad, welcome back to it's Mayor's Monday again. As we always say, you're not a mayor, but you're still pretty important. You still make a help. You got your button on a lot of the decisions for the county, and 2018 was a big year for the county to say the least, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of big stuff happening, a lot of changes actually. Aside from things like the uniform addressing, which of course affected a lot of people, and things like that. But we also had a pretty exciting development that's moving forward with North Central Health System, which is kind of one of the
Right.
big facilities here in the county.
Right. We came up with a comprehensive renovation plan for the entire campus that will be spaced out over a period of years and funded primarily through increased revenues from the North Central Healthcare. But the biggest part from my perspective is it will include the building of a aquatic therapy pool, which will be attached, but not fully attached, but it'll be part of the overall campus. And I've had a number of discussions with people, and I said, well, if we did it this way, it wouldn't be done next year, but it'd be done the year. No. It's going to be done this year. We've been talking about this for over a decade. Whatever plans we come up with, this is the priority to get done first. And let's get that done and check that off the list, open it up, have a great big community celebration. It should be a celebration because it's not funded. It's only funded 50% with county dollars and 50% with privately raised dollars. People show that they really want it, and that I'm sure that it'll be well utilized.
Yeah, and just exactly then, you mentioned the wait for something like this and the cost for this project. I mean, just how big of a deal then is this for the county that this is finally going to be done in a few months? Somebody will be able to look there and say, look, there's the finished product.
Oh, in the scope of things, we spend a lot more money on other things, roads and other kinds of buildings. But in terms of community involvement, in terms of people showing up at meetings, it's huge. We'd put together an agenda if it had the word water on it, their group would show up. They taught us all a lesson about what respectful interaction with government officials and a willingness to go out and raise some money on your own through your own initiatives can do for a community. Because many times where I had the votes counted in the county board, they didn't have 7-8 votes. And then all of a sudden they'd show up and they'd continue to advocate, always respectfully, always with data, always very appropriate, and they turned the tide.
So then as far as a quality of life project goes for the county, what is this? What is this project, or where does this rank?
Well, I think it certainly improves the quality of life. I think there are people that are ambulatory now and enjoying their life that wouldn't be ambulatory without that facility. So it's an important part of our healthcare component system.
And then exactly what is the timeline then as far as getting this thing
I don't want to get pinned down on that. I've made it a priority, and my timeline is it'll be completed and open in 2019. There are too many moving parts for me to give a date, because if I give a date, people will plan their celebration. And once we get the ground broken, I'll know the date, but I won't know it now.
Just let us know when to order the cake, right?
You do that. Yeah,
right.
We'll order the cake.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the other big thing, and it's probably not only big for all of us in Marathon County, but for folks in Marshfield and Stevens Point as well, was the new partnership, I guess you could say, for the University of Wisconsin Marathon County, a county facility that now has been integrated into the UWSP system. There's a lot of people that they had feelings about this. They didn't want to see UWMC go away now that it's UW Stevens Point Wausau, but still it's something that the county can really be proud of, that something like this is moving forward.
Well, what we got to be proud of is that this facility is going to stay open, and it'll stay open long term. The chancellor, the other leadership of UW Stevens Point, and the state system is committed to keeping this place open. We continue to have some reductions in students. Part of that is because of the success of the tech college. Part of it is just demographics, or if you were high school graduates. But we still offer an important educational alternative to people. I'm anticipating that this time next year, we will have seen the implementation of a Master's of Business Administration night program here in Marathon County, and that we will now be offering something that's not offered anywhere else in the region, but it'll be unique to our area. And a lot of people who are working full-time will be able to advance their career and their educational attainment while they're still employed and while they're still raising a family that wouldn't have had that opportunity if they had to drive to Oshkosh or some other community.
Yeah, absolutely. And that just does wonders for the business community here as well. Again, the reason they wanted Wausau in the name is because of the business background, the
Right.
insurance companies, and all the other communities or businesses that had Wausau in the name. They wanted that associated with the business campus.
Stevens Point and Marshall are wonderful towns, but Wausau is an economic engine of central Wisconsin, and they understand that.
And it's great to see that facility is going to stay open, like you said, for the long term. And now folks, if they want an MBA, they can stay right here and do it at home, and that's going to mean great things for the business community here.
There are going to be more bachelor's degrees offered too.
Yeah.
We're gonna see a new integration, but we still are focused on the fundamentals: good, high quality general education and access that wouldn't be provided otherwise. There are high quality students out here who, because they didn't necessarily put forth their best effort in high school, would be barred from other schools. But if they can come here, we can get them integrated, we can resolve some of those issues, and we can get them on the track to getting a baccalaureate degree from UW-Madison or wherever they want one.
Yeah, and it's great that that's going to happen right here in Marathon County, and to see something like that for higher education is great for everybody as well. The other kind of story that dominated the headlines, if you will, in 2018 was the metallic mining ordinance. We've got it in place now. You've had a metallic mining committee that's been meeting for the better part of about 3 months now. Could you kind of give us an update on where this is? I mean,
Right.
do you have a sense that we're going to have an application filed soon?
Well, I don't know the answer to that, but let me just give you a little bit of context. The state of Wisconsin had a mining moratorium, so we didn't have to worry about that here. There wasn't going to be any mining in the state of Wisconsin. We thought, we never really thought much about it. And who knew that there was gold in Marathon County? When I first heard that, I thought, oh, sure. That's somebody saying that, and they're going to do some exploration, that'd be it. But no, there is a gold deposit in the town of Easton. And there is a mining company who owns the land and is planning on mining it. When they're going to mine it, I don't know. But I don't think it's actually going to be anytime soon. But I would bet that 5 years from now you start to talk about the mine, because they have other holdings, and they do them one at a time. What we have to make sure is that they come and mine. They'll probably only mine for 10 years. That they don't just leave us a mess after they make a lot of money. That they put things back the way they found them. And that they don't poison the water, poison the land, or make the property values drop in that area because of the way the mine was left. So we're looking forward to some good paying jobs. We're all for people making money for their efforts and their investments. And we just got to make sure we protect others who aren't necessarily benefiting directly from the mining.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like the company, Aquila Resources, is one of those companies that will be good stewards of the land, and they've done so elsewhere along the area. Is that kind of what you're focusing on right now then with the committee?
Yes. What we're talking about is working in partnership with the mining company, not trying to create an adversarial relationship, but to get a planning and a community dialogue. Because even the small things like dust and noise are important to people who live next to it. You can say, well, that's not important. That's because you live in Wausau. If you live next to it, it would be important to you. And so we want to try to make sure we have an ongoing dialogue so we can talk about those nuisances and talk about the small things. The Department of Natural Resources is going to regulate the environmental practices, the big ones. Our authority is really off the main mine site. But that's important to us, and it's important to us that DNR does a good job too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So just exactly what are the goals then of the committee, and how often are they meeting? Could you give us
Well,
an
they're
update on
meeting
that?
every month. And what they're trying to do is come up with a framework that puts forward how the relationship will be structured, what are the critical points where the conversations and licensing needs to occur. It gets also trying to put together some deposits so that if there are things that need to be remediated, there's funding available to do it.
So this is going to be something that will be an ongoing discussion then for the next few years.
It will go on. And you know what? If we wait 5 years and then they get the application, what will happen is we'll think of things. I wish I'd have thought of that, and I wish we're new at this. We're doing the best we can. We're working with other models, and there will be things that come up that we hadn't anticipated, but we'll learn and go. And if we can create a great partnership with the mining company, it won't be that important. We'll just talk and we'll get it worked out.
So this is really about kind of making sure that everything's ready to go when that time happens, whenever that is.
When we get an application, we want to be as prepared as we can be.
So how much have you learned about mining then in the last
More than I
year?
ever wanted to know.
Yeah, it seems like
One thing I learned for sure is there's a lot of money to be made.
That is true. It seems like that's something that's been on, especially back there this summer in June, July. It was on a lot of people's minds, and we were all learning a lot about it.
It was. It's not an easy business to be in, but there's money to be made.
So what should we be looking forward to then in 2019?
Okay, two things that I'm looking forward to is we're going to conclude our study on a regional morgue.
Mm-hmm.
We just recently had a child death, and that really highlighted the lack of facilities to do a autopsy death investigation. And we had to beg Madison, the University of Wisconsin, to take that baby's body in, or there was no other alternative. We need a northern alternative. Now, we're thinking that maybe we can build the facility by remodeling the area where the aquatic therapy pool was. We're not that far in advance, though. But making it pay for itself, that's going to be a challenge. And we're going to have to find a way to do that because what we have now isn't working for us and isn't working for any of our northern neighbors, and we're going to have to build the kind of partnerships to make that happen. The other thing that I'm most interested in is going to continue to work on a new police channel on the dispatch system. We know that our system has too many police officers on it now, and when one person's on, the other person can't be on.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have funding for it. And we're going to try to make the secure detention facility more efficient by, rather than having 6 kids housed there routinely, moving up to 15, that will create enough revenue to offset the cost of the new radio system. Then we have to sustain that. So it's a real challenge. Anybody can start a new program with new money. But it takes a lot more effort to say we're going to take one of the programs we have in place and make it more efficient or more revenue enhanced or draw down greater revenues and use that money to fill a different need.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll be looking forward to see where those stories go in 2019 and look forward to more of these chats as well. Brad,
Sure.
we always appreciate the time. Wish you happy holidays to you and your staff.
Yeah. Merry Christmas to you and Merry Christmas to your listeners.
And as always, thank you for the service. We'll be chatting again in the near future.
Okay. Thank you. Take care.